After 10 years of love and heartbreak, Sarah walked away from Michael, never imagining she would be the only one left when life struck him down. Alone in a cold hospital bed, abandoned by everyone, Michael opens his eyes to see the one face he thought he had lost forever. Their reunion is filled with silence, regret, and emotions too heavy to name. But as his strength fades with every breath, a secret unravels between them, one that will change the meaning of their goodbye forever. YouTube intro line before the story begins? Sarah and Michael had been together for 10 long years. They laughed together, dreamed together, and even fought sometimes, but they always came back to each other. People in town thought they would never break apart. But one day, after a heavy argument that started small but grew like fire, Sarah packed her bags and left. She said she was tired of being misunderstood, and Michael said he was tired of always trying to explain himself. They both turned their backs, and it felt like the end of something that had once been strong. Time passed, and Sarah tried to live her life. She went to work, she smiled at people, but inside she felt an emptiness she could not hide. She would walk past places where they once laughed together, and the memories would sting like salt in a wound. Michael too stayed alone in his house, but pride kept him from calling her back. The silence between them became louder than any fight they had ever had. Yet, neither of them knew that something far bigger than pride was waiting for them. One morning, Sarah got a call that made her hands shake. Michael had fallen sick, very sick. The strong man she once knew was lying weak in a hospital bed, his body thin and his voice faint. Many of the friends who used to sit at his table had now disappeared. The laughter of old days was gone, and the room around him smelled of medicine and loneliness. Sarah stood at the door of the hospital, her heart torn. She told herself she had no reason to go in, not after everything. But her feet would not move away. She walked in, and when Michael's eyes met hers, tears ran down his face. "You came," he whispered, as if he could not believe it. She sat beside him, holding his weak hands. In that moment, all the anger of the past melted into silence. She could not walk away, not now, not like this. The days grew longer. Michael's sickness worsened. His friends, who once promised to stay, never came back. Even his family stayed away, too afraid to face the truth. Sarah became his only visitor, his only helper. She fed him when his hands trembled, she read to him when his eyes grew dim, and she listened when he spoke of regrets. Sometimes, Michael would look at her and ask, "Why are you here, Sarah? After everything, why?" She never had the perfect answer. Maybe it was love that refused to die, maybe it was pity, or maybe it was something deeper that tied their souls together. She only knew that she could not let him suffer alone. But inside her, another conflict grew. Was she still in love with him, or was she only chasing the ghost of the man she once knew? One night, when the rain beat hard against the window, Michael's breathing grew heavy. Sarah sat close, afraid to blink, afraid to leave his side. He whispered, "I wish I had loved you better, Sarah. I wish I had held on to you when you walked away." His words cut through her heart like a knife, because she too wished she had stayed, wished she had forgiven, wished she had loved more than she fought. She held his hand tight, her tears falling on his pale skin. "Don't talk like that," she said. But Michael only smiled weakly, the smile of someone who knew his time was slipping away. The fear in Sarah's chest grew into something she could not control. She wanted to scream, to run, to hold him forever, but the night pressed down on her like a heavy stone. By morning, Michael was gone. His hand, once warm in hers, had turned cold. Sarah sat frozen, her tears silent. The hospital room felt empty, but in her heart, his voice still echoed. She had been there when no one else would, she had carried him through his last days, but she could not carry him back to life. Walking out of the hospital, the world seemed strange. People laughed in the streets, the sun shone bright, yet her world had cracked in half. She thought of the 10 years they shared, the fights, the laughter, the dreams, and the nights of silence. All of it had ended in this quiet goodbye. Sarah knew she would never forget him, not in 10 years, not in 50. And though her heart was broken, she also knew this: love, even when lost, has a way of staying alive inside us, like a fire that refuses to die.